The women of my church have recently started a Bible study, following different women of the Bible. Most recently, we discussed and dove deeper into the story of Hannah from 1 Samuel 1 and 2. If you are unfamiliar with the story, you can find the verses here. To give you a quick summary, Hannah was married to Elkanah, who was also married to Peninnah. We cannot be certain, but scholars believe Hannah was actually Elkanah's first wife. When Hannah was unable to bear children, Elkanah married Peninnah. Now Peninnah was a real piece of work. We only catch a glimpse of the tormenting, but imagine living with a woman who has borne all of these sons and daughters for your husband, and then she continually rubs your face in it. Every year they would travel to Shiloh as a family to sacrifice to the Lord. This particular year, Hannah must have been at her limit. The priest, Eli, found her praying to the Lord and weeping bitterly. In that prayer, she made a vow to the Lord, saying if he gave her a son, then she would give him back to the Lord. Eli initially thought Hannah was drunk, seeing her weeping and praying with her lips moving, but no words voiced. After clarification from Hannah that she was just a woman pouring out her soul to the Lord, Eli answered, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of him." After this trip, Hannah conceived and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel and eventually gave Samuel to the Lord, and he lived at the house of the Lord with Eli. 1 Samuel 2:1-1 is Hannah's prayer, full of thanks and rejoicing to God for answering her prayer. We only read one sentence regarding Peninnah and Hannah's relationship in verse 6. Because the Lord had closed Hannah's womb, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her. We may overlook this if we are not reading carefully, but think about Hannah and her daily life with Peninnah. First of all, she is sharing a husband with Peninnah. As we all agreed in our Bible study, Hannah is a much stronger woman than all of us, isn't she? Even when Hannah had been mocked, bullied, and her prayers went unanswered, she was still able to find contentment in the Lord. Hannah brought her sorrow and bitterness to the Lord, and she was reminded where her identity was found. She found comfort in her purpose as a child of God. Hannah also shared her struggles with a godly mentor, Eli, who pointed her back to Christ. It is important to remember, Hannah was uplifted and encouraged before she became pregnant with Samuel. Her prayers had still not been answered when she left Eli. She was most likely still mocked by Peninnah on their way home, but God had already restored her. Remember the easy saying, what would Jesus do? He would not treat others in that manner. Seek out the Holy Spirit and spend time with God. You are responsible for you, your words, and your actions. Like Hannah, it does not matter who you are until you know whose you are.